you all. Yeah, let us start with introduction and overview of operating system. In the previous class, we have glanced the syllabus. Okay, so module one is completely about introduction to operating system, right? So what do you mean by an operating system, and what are the definitions we have to use? Okay, and how to understand this? What all things were available in this? We are going to see further. First topic in this is goal of an operating system. What is the primary goal of this? And how do we achieve these goals of operating system? We will see. Followed by how do we operate operating system. So these two concepts we are going to discuss in today's class. Okay. In the previous class we have did the introduction of operating system, and now we are going to deal with goals and operation. Right? Fine. Followed by and how do we compute it, and how to allocate the resources, and what about the efficiency of the operating system, and how it performs, and what about the convenience for the user. So all that we are going to discuss in the first module, right? Okay. As I told you earlier, we have to use this textbook to understand the concepts. So basic definitions you need to know. So please note down some key points or important points about operating system. So what is the basic definition of operating system? What do you mean by that? That you can have an idea. It differs from person to person, as we have seen. Okay, as a school student or a college student, they understand operating system differently. As a programmer and application package engineer, or a technician or a specialized person using computer, they understand it differently. So that's what the definition of operating system will vary depending on the perspective of the person who is using it. Okay, and what about the abstract view, the basic abstract view of the operating system? Okay, if you look at the abstract view of the operating system, we have two ends. One end is user, and the other end is computer hardware. Okay, between user and the computer hardware, we have different layers or different, let's say, uh, verticals we have. So one of them is user interface. So when we use the operating system, like anyone will experience the best user interface. So a lot of operating systems have been failed in providing the user interface, so they didn't got too much attract about too much popularity. Okay, and we need to have a strong kernel. Okay, this kernel is going to protect the operating system from crashing, or this kernel is going to have an important view towards the operating system, how we see it. And before kernel, we have some other routines which we have to follow to non-kernel routines also. Okay. So finally, to understand between user and the computer, okay. So we need user interface, non-kernel routines, and kernel routines. So these things are required, right? As we have seen, first one, user interface. So as we have seen in the previous class, the user interface will be experienced based on two methods. So one, it can be command based. Another one, using graphical user interface. We shortly call it as GUI. Now let me know whether Windows is GUI or command based.
GUI, sir.
GUI, great. So Windows is GUI. And what about an example for operating system? Where which operating system will use command?
Linux.
Linux and Unix that's going to use commands. Okay. So which one the user will be easier, which one the user will feel easy, that they'll opt for. Okay, right. So this is an example for command based. So we can see that even in Windows we can use command based to find out something. Maybe while doing your C programming lab, basic lab in your first year, to go to the DOS prompt and you did all these things. Command based you have did it. Even though we have GUI, but we learned like that how to based on the uh, interface what we have. We also can do it using GUI. With mouse cursor, we can able to click on it and access the icons, menus, and we can see the pointer, all that we can see. So GUI is called as graphical user interface. So the better the interface we have, uh, it will be convenient for the user to use it. That's the first one. Okay. So when anyone is trying to develop an operating system, so they need to focus on the first point is what user interface. It should be very sophisticated, or it should be well advanced. All that it should be, right? And what all non-kernel routines for the second point, second key point between the user and the hardware interface. So non-kernel uh, routines we have. Okay, we have to use some commands for executing these programs, and also we may use the resource of computer. Let us say we have a speaker, inbuilt speaker. We want to play some audio. How can the speaker will be activated when I give a command? The speaker does not know what is a command, correct? So how to do it? And when you want to stop it, how do we understand that we are going to stop it? So there is something missing out when we are trying to connect from user to the external like hardware devices. Okay, so we were going to invoke the routine. So it's like when computer is on. Let us think like computer is on. When computer is on, you may attend the video call through that, or you may open Word document, or you can do PowerPoint. So there are different routines to do it, or you do nothing, just right click and do refresh. That's the routine. So which routine you are going to do, and what system has to implement for this routine. So is what it has to take care. Okay. And what about kernel? This is the core of the operating system, where the complete operating system will be controlled by this. How strong the kernel is and how good the kernel is, that much popular the operating system is going to be, and that much secure. Okay. So this kernel, what it will do, it will provide some services for the CPU, memory, and also for the other resources and other parts of the computer. Okay. So this is about the introduction part of operating system. So next we'll move on to the goals of operating system. So what are the goals of operating system? Three goals are there. What are they? What are the three primary goals of operating system? Hmm? Hello, are you there? What were the three goals of operating system? First one, what are the three goals of operating system? Hello, you can hear me? Yes, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So which slide you are in now? So that's what the user interface
13.
wants. 13, fine. So there is synchronized within the slides. There is no problem today?
No, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
fine.
no problem.
Yes, no. Great. Fine. So tell me now, what are the goals of operating system? Efficient use, then second one, efficient use, second one, user
User convenience.
convenience, and third one, non interference. So these three things. So usually in general, you just tell me what is user convenience as per you. In general, let me know what do you meant by user convenience. What do you mean by that user convenience?
How much comfortably the user will operate that OS?
Means you should be easy or it should be difficult.
Easier, sir.
Be convenient, or whenever, however you want, you can use it. Let us say you feel mobile phones you all are using for attending online classes, correct? So what is the screen
Yes.
size of a mobile phone which will be optimum? Let us say I am going to take a survey on this. Okay. The screen size is 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. So what is the screen size you are using? It will be convenient for you. What do you say? And I'll ask you like how much uh, memory you're going to use. Let us say internal memory of your computer or of your laptop or mobile phone. How much you need, or let us say in a different way, how much data you need to attend. You require to attend the class. Let us say I require 100 MB to attend one class. Like that, how much data you need. So based on that, they need to work out and do it. They might have did lot of survey, the Geo and Airtel or whatever mobile connections they are doing. They might have did lot of survey and they might have felt like 1.5 GB will be best optimum. It will come for 3 hours. So usually when you see any mobile phone, your average screen time will be around 3 hours to 6 hours. But due to the online classes, it can be increased to 8 hours or your usage of mobile phone for playing games or whatever reasons. The screen time is increased to how much screen time you're using. You'll get a report, right? Screen time report. How much time you're using your mobile phone. So are you with me?
8 to 10, sir.
8 to 10 hours. So that's what. So it depends. Okay. So there are a lot of things to discuss. You cannot confine to only one boundary or one area. There are a lot of parameters to be considered. Let us see what they have considered here. Okay, right. So goals of operating system. So why we kept some goals here is we need to use the operating system effectively and in a convenient manner. Okay. Now there is a conflict now. We want to use effectively and we want the convenience also. Effectiveness and convenience will give you conflict. Okay. Like convenient way, if you are now you are attending online classes, like you may attend it using laptop or attend using mobile phone or computer. So as per your convenience, you are doing it. But effectively, if you want to understand the class, we recommend or suggest you all to attend using desktop computer or laptop, so that you'll have the enough space and the screen will be on. So it will be comfortable for you is what, or effectively you can see the screen. Correct? So these two are different, but as per your convenience, the mobile phone it will be convenient for you. You can hold it in your hand, you can roam around, you can listen with headphones, or you can move, you can have mobility wherever you are, you can attend. So there are two different things. But effectively, if you want to use it, you have to sit at one place and open your computer. The computer table should be there, computer chair should be there. So all that. So you understood, right? Now there is a conflict between effective use and convenience. We're talking about the external environment, but what about the internal environment for the computer? Okay. So what is meant by effective utilization? So when we have a conflict between effective utilization and convenience, now what he will tell is, sir, computer also I don't want. I don't want mobile phone also. If I have iPad with me, I'll be much more convenient because it will be having a larger screen than mobile phone, or you have any other pad like Samsung pad or any other pad, iPad, whatever you want. That will be much more easier. The screen will be much more larger, and there are no notifications coming up there, or it will be much more easier. So we bring to some trade-off. So I'll attend it using 10-inch laptop. That also I can carry, portable. It will connect very fast. So that's called trade-off. Somewhere you come to a negotiation that which one is best. So like that in operating systems also, we need to find out the trade-off between efficiency and convenience. Okay, it depends on the person to person, depending on the requirement, all that varies. So as we seen in the yesterday's class, effective use, the goals of an operating system, effective use. Okay. So it has to use effectively the memory, CPU, input output devices, and all that. Along with that, this operating system will have to consume the resources given by CPU and memory. Okay, so this gives you the overhead. Overhead means what? In general, you tell me overhead means what? Leave the concepts for time being about operating system. What do you mean by overhead? So what do you mean by overhead in general? We have some discussion now about overhead. So what do you mean by overhead?